Well, Donald Trump must like spending the entirety of his new administration in the courtroom because his recent firings of many, if not all, of the prosecutors in the Department of Justice, career prosecutors, career civil servants who have rights, firing them because they were assigned to and worked on the prosecution and investigation of Donald Trump is a violation of federal law. Due process rights, civil service rights of these particular prosecutors. Presidents don't do this. You don't penalize or punish lawyers in the Department of Justice and career prosecutors because they were assigned to a case against you. It's the largest attempted purge, I say attempted purge, in the history of the Department of Justice, and I think it's going to fail. These people have the ability to sue the government and recover hundreds of millions of dollars in response to their unlawful firing. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Let's dive in. What's going on? A couple of days ago, I reported that Donald Trump is had tried to force some career prosecutors to resign by transferring them to the equivalent of Siberia, or transferring them to the unsavory responsibility of working on the Sanctuary City Task Force. That's the new Department of Justice weaponized approach to going after primarily Democratic urban cities who are harboring undocumented and are refusing to cooperate with federal officials, and making these Department of Justice career prosecutors who have prosecuted Donald Trump go work on those task forces, knowing that that's going to lead them to leave. That was a few days ago. But now, just a blatant firing of people like Molly Gaston, J.P. Cooney, Ann McNamara, and others that worked under Jack Smith, trying to get them out of the government. Now, they're not even putting them on leave. They're not even acting like they're doing this appropriately under a series of laws that are required to be followed here. I mean, in order to fire these people for reassignment, it has to follow the Merit Systems Protection Board policies. If you're a civil servant and you got time on the clock and you've put in your time, you've got seniority, you can't just be fired unless you've done something egregious like a crime, a felony, or some sort of moral turpitude. At best, at worst, it's progressive discipline. You got to be given a warning. You got to be given, and it's got to be legitimate and in good faith. You got a warning, then some sort of training or retraining, a letter in the file, then if it happens again, and so on and so on. It's called, in the world of HR, which I also practice in employment law, it's called progressive discipline. You can't just go, hey, you prosecuted the president, he doesn't trust you, you're gone. That's why we have civil service laws. That's why we have Merit Systems Protection Board. Even in the letter that this acting tool of Donald Trump, the acting attorney general, because Pam Bondi hasn't yet been confirmed, James McHenry, he wrote a letter, they had to find some stooge. And this particular stooge writes a letter to all of them, a form letter that says, because you worked on the prosecution of the president, he has lost his faith and confidence in you to execute his new policies, and therefore you are gone. You may appeal to the Merit Systems Protection Board. That's exactly what they're going to do. I call on my fellow members of the bar. I call on my fellow officers of the court to represent these people and take them to court, take them to the board. And if you don't like the board, take them to a federal district court in D.C. and get them back their jobs, or at the very least, substantial damages for having their careers dashed by Donald Trump in the interest, listen to this Orwellian approach. In order to avoid weaponization, he's weaponizing the Department of Justice and going after the prosecutors. I mean, look, firing the 17 or so inspectors general in violation of Republican-backed law to protect their independence, which is also going to be overturned in the court system, now going after each one of these prosecutors just doing their job. Some people might be asking here, why didn't they leave like Jack Smith left? Why did they even hang around? Is it principle? No. Jack Smith was a special prosecutor. He was appointed specially for a task. That task was concluded, especially after Donald Trump won election. And he left and he took he told all the people assigned to him that were not career Department of Justice prosecutors. I'm talking about the other special prosecutors and special counsel he brought in from private practice. And he basically gave them permission to leave. He said, I'm out, you're out, I'm working on my report. As soon as I deliver the report to to Merrick Garland, which he did on the 3rd or 4th of January, 2025, I'm out. But these people I'm talking about, Molly Gaston, Ann McNamara, and the rest, they are career prosecutors. They have jobs. They work for the Department of Justice. They're civil servants. They have time. They have seniority. They have pay. They have pension. They have health care. Okay? You can't just fire them because you feel like it. And so this is Donald Trump. I mean, somebody recently said about this is an anti-democratic, anti-rule of law approach. You don't fire prosecutors because you don't like the cases they worked on, even if they were against you, right? But we're in troubling times. Donald Trump's going to do everything he can to just throw out democracy and try to reset to install MAGA policies. And this is part of it. Got to use the court system. Got to use those lawyers to represent these people. I assure you that they are represented or will be represented now, either individually or together, and that you and I, through the taxpayer dollars, are going to end up paying them a lot of money for having lost their jobs. You know, these people are in mid-career. They're in their 40s and 50s. Sure, there's a little bit of a revolving door. There's a high-end group of prosecutors that often leave the office to take cushy jobs and plum jobs with top law firms to make millions of dollars. I get it. I don't begrudge that. But right below that is a group of dedicated professional prosecutors that this is their life's work. And it just got taken away from them. It's like being told you can't do the thing that you love, that you were trained to do, that you spent 7 years training to do, that you've spent 20 or 30 years now invested in. You're not allowed to do it anymore because there's a new president. See how that rings hollow? So we'll continue to follow it all. You're already on the Legal AF YouTube channel if you didn't know it. Maybe you wandered over here through the algorithms or whatever. We're continuing to build this pro-democracy channel with your help in collaboration with the Midas Touch Network. Hit the blue subscribe button. Help us continue to grow our channel to the 500,000 level by our half birthday, which is about a month and a half from now. I'll continue to do my part, curating the top content at the intersection of law and politics. Can't find anywhere else. I defy you to find this type of analysis and commentary on a regular basis, 6-8 times a day, anywhere else on YouTube other than the Midas Touch Network and Legal AF. Wednesdays and Saturdays, the original YouTube and podcast Legal AF. It is the OG. It is now top 8 in the world in all genres. Joe Rogan's number 1 for some reason, but we're number 8 and catching up fast. Legal AF, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Midas Touch and on our all audio podcast platforms. And then I got a new show. Airs tonight. Popok Live at 8 p.m. I take questions. I give answers. I don't take any prisoners. I don't pull any punches. I don't blow any smoke. What do I do? Find out at 8 p.m. tonight. I'm Michael Popok. Until my next reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.